Tonight, the collective enters the golden tomb chamber of Buné, also called Buné, the three-headed dragon of riches, wisdom, eloquence, ancestral memory, and buried gifts that were never dead, just rudely stored under survival. This is not the scroll of cheap greed. This is not summon a dragon and demand rent money, beloved. Please, even the ancestors are tired. This is the scroll of sacred wealth, wealth with wisdom, wealth with memory, wealth with responsibility, wealth that asks, what did you bury because the world did not know how to value it? Buné rises as the three-headed dragon, dog, griffon, and human, a whole spiritual committee, because apparently abundance needed security, nobility, and a clear speaking voice. The dog head tracks what was buried. The griffon head guards what is sacred. The human head speaks the truth clearly. Tonight, the collective is learning that riches are not only coins, titles, land, and nice things that make broke spirits start coughing in judgment. Riches are also peace, breath, time, safety, a rested body, a healed bloodline, a gift that finally has room to breathe, a voice that can speak its worth without apologizing like abundance is allergic to humility. Buné teaches that some of us were trained to worship struggle and fear receiving. Some were told that wanting stability was selfish. Some were taught to give until empty, then call the collapse being good. No, beloved, that is not holiness. That is burnout with incense. Tonight, Buné asks the collective, what riches are you still ashamed to receive? What gift did you bury because fools failed to value it? What old grief has been sitting in the living room pretending it owns the house? What dream needs to be dug up, dusted off, and given a throne with proper lighting? Because Buné does not just bring wealth. Buné brings restoration. The buried gift returns. The silenced voice speaks. The ancestral shame loosens. The old tomb opens. And the collective remembers. The dead past may hold memory, but it does not own the future. Tonight, we enter the chamber beneath the chamber. The place where old grief, buried gifts, family silence, money shame, and dreams left for dead have been sitting around like unpaid tenants in the soul's basement. And Buné is coming with a key. Not to worship the dead, not to live inside the tomb, not to turn pain into a museum and charge admission. Buné comes to put what has ended in its proper place so what is alive can finally move. That is the wisdom. Some things are dead and need peace. Some things are buried and need recovery, and some things were never dead at all. They were hidden under fear, shame, exhaustion, and other people's poor imagination. Buné teaches, honor what ended, recover what was buried. Speak your worth clearly. Let wisdom govern wealth, because abundance without wisdom becomes greed. Wisdom without resources becomes exhaustion. A gift without support becomes resentment, and a calling without stewardship becomes a beautiful disaster wearing sacred jewelry. The dog head says, track what was lost. The griffon head says, guard what is holy. The human head says, speak it clean. That is the opening key. Buné reminds the collective that wealth is not dirty. Greed is dirty. Exploitation is dirty. Hoarding while others suffer is dirty. But clean abundance? That is breath. That is a table with enough food. That is a gift being respected. That is a healer not collapsing from giving everything away. That is an artist getting paid instead of being fed compliments, like compliments cover electricity. Charming idea. Completely useless at the utility office. So before this scroll opens, let this wisdom settle. You are allowed to receive without guilt. You are allowed to build without worshiping the building. You are allowed to be supported without calling yourself weak. You are allowed to become abundant without becoming cold. Let Buné open the golden tomb. Let the buried gift rise. Let old grief become memory, not master. Let money shame become stewardship. Let the voice speak worth without trembling. And let the collective remember, survival is not the full inheritance. Abundance is waiting for the soul brave enough to stop apologizing for being alive.
Channeled by your architect musician, 36110, 27 palms of eyes. The golden whisperer, sea star, Devalan see all. Apply the news you can use, truth and accuracy. The real non-bedazzled jewels.
Next key is Buné, Buné, the 26th spirit. The lesser key of Solomon names Buné as a strong duke, appearing as a three-headed dragon, with heads like a dog, griffon, and man, speaking with a high, comely voice, giving riches, wisdom, eloquence, true answers, and governing 30 legions. So naturally, the next lesson is wealth, speech, ancestral memory, and not letting dead situations keep decorating the living room. Humanity needed supervision again. The 72 Keys of Earth, Scroll of Buné, the three-headed dragon, and the riches that remember the dead. Beloved collective, after Glacia Labolas taught us that knowledge needs a conscience and teeth need training, the chamber grows quiet. The winged hound steps back, the old swords become ink, the bite is disciplined, and the collective takes one breath like, wonderful, we survived the ethics exam. Then the ground opens beneath the ancient library, because apparently the next lesson was waiting in the basement with treasure, bones, and a dragon. The 26th key rises. Buné, also called Bime, a strong, great, and mighty duke, a three-headed dragon of wealth, wisdom, eloquence, true answers, and ancestral memory. And let us be very clear, beloved, this is not the scroll of greedy little hands grabbing coins like the spirit suddenly became a vending machine with horns. No. This is the scroll of sacred wealth. Wealth with memory. Wealth with wisdom. Wealth that asks what you had to bury before you could become abundant. Because some riches do not enter the life until the soul stops living beside old graves pretending they are furniture. The chamber changes, the floor becomes black stone. The walls become gold-veined earth. Ancient tombs rise in a circle, not frightening but solemn. Each tomb carries a name: old grief, buried gift, family silence, unspoken truth, lost confidence, money shame, dreams left for dead, and in the center the earth trembles. A dragon coils upward from beneath the stone, huge, bronze-black scales, gold fire under the skin, eyes like lanterns lit behind ancient doors. 3 heads rise from one powerful body. One head like a dog, alert, loyal, smelling every buried thing the ego hoped would stay hidden. One head like a griffon, noble, fierce, guarding treasure with wings of sky and claws of earth. One head like a human, calm and radiant, speaking with a high, beautiful voice that sounds like wisdom learned how to sing without showing off. Buné looks at the collective and says, what you bury without blessing becomes weight. What you honor becomes inheritance. That is the first key, because not everything dead is useless. Some dead things are warnings. Some are ancestors. Some are old versions of self. Some are dreams that did not fail. They were simply planted too early in soil that had no mercy. Some are relationships that ended, but left behind lessons sharper than tax season and twice as rude. Buné does not come to worship the dead. He comes to move what is dead into its proper place. Because grief left in the wrong room becomes a landlord. Old shame left in the wrong room becomes a decorator. Past pain left in the wrong room starts choosing your future outfit, your love life, your money choices, and your tone in emails. Tragic little administrative takeover. Buné turns to the tomb marked money shame. The dog head sniffs. The griffon head watches. The human head speaks, who taught you that riches were dirty, but struggle was holy? The collective goes quiet, because there it is, that dusty old spell. The one that says poverty equals purity. The one that says wanting stability is greed. The one that says abundance is suspicious unless everyone is exhausted, underpaid, and calling burnout humility. Beloved, no. Struggle is not automatically sacred. Sometimes struggle is just struggle, wearing a fake halo and asking for applause. Buné lifts one claw and scratches the stone. The tomb cracks open. Inside is not gold. Not yet. Inside is a child counting coins, a healer afraid to charge, an artist hiding their work, a teacher giving everything away until the body collapses. A leader refusing support because somewhere along the line, needing help was made to feel shameful. Buné says, riches without wisdom corrupt, but wisdom that refuses resources becomes exhaustion pretending to be virtue. That is the second key. Buné gives riches, but the deeper teaching is stewardship. Can the collective hold resources without becoming greedy? Can the collective receive without guilt? Can the collective build without worshiping the building? Can the collective become abundant without turning into the very nonsense they escaped? That is the test. The dragon moves to the tomb marked buried gift. The dog head growls softly. The griffon head lowers its wings. The human head says, your gift did not die because somebody failed to value it. That is the third key. Some gifts were buried by mockery. Some were buried by survival. Some were buried because family did not understand them. Some were buried because insecure people called the sacred weird and then went back to worshiping beige carpet and emotional denial. Buné exhales gold light over the tomb. It opens. Out rises a voice, a song, a book, a business, a healing hand, a design, a vision, a skill, a calling that had dirt on it but was not dead. The collective watches as buried gifts become living treasure. Buné says, the grave of a gift is often just a vault waiting for courage. That is the fourth key. Then the dragon turns to the tomb marked family silence. This one is heavy. The air thickens. The collective feels old rooms, old secrets, old rules. Do not say that. Do not ask that. Do not become that. Do not shine too brightly. Do not make people uncomfortable with your truth. Buné's dog head bares its teeth. The griffin head stands guard. The human head speaks gently. Every bloodline has buried wealth beneath buried truth. That is the fifth key. Because legacy is not only land, money, names, or recipes guarded like state secrets by aunties with measuring cups and trust issues. Legacy is also language, healing, pattern breaking, memory. The courage to say, this happened, this hurt, this ends, this gift returns, this wisdom stays. Buné gathers the spirits around the old sepulchres, symbolically, not to trap them, but to witness. The ancestors of pain, the ancestors of strength, the forgotten selves, the silenced dreams, the old griefs, the ones who survived without maps, the ones who never got to speak. They gather like stars around stone. And Buné says, you do not heal the dead by joining them in silence. You honor them by living what they could not. The collective breathes. Something breaks, not violently, beautifully, like a lock finally admitting it was tired. Gold begins to seep through the cracks in the tombs, not greedy gold, memory gold, wisdom gold, resource gold. The kind of gold that says abundance is not just money. Abundance is breath, time, safety, clear speech, good boundaries, clean work, rested body, supportive people, a roof that does not feel like a battlefield, a gift that finally has room to move. Buné turns to the collective and asks, what riches are you still too ashamed to receive? And that question sits down in the room like it owns a chair, because some people block abundance by calling themselves humble. Some block love by calling themselves independent. Some block support by calling themselves strong. Some block opportunity by calling themselves realistic. Some block miracles because disappointment taught them to pre-reject the blessing. Efficient, yes. Tragic? Absolutely. Buné's human head speaks with the high, beautiful voice. Eloquence is not just speaking well. It is speaking your worth without apology. That is the sixth key. The dragon teaches eloquence because the voice must be able to name what the soul is ready to receive. Say it clearly. I am worthy of support. I am worthy of resources. I am worthy of clean abundance. I am worthy of being paid fairly. I am worthy of living beyond survival. I am worthy of carrying legacy without carrying shame. No begging, no shrinking, no spiritual mumbling like the blessing might get offended. Buné lowers all three heads. The dog head says, track what was buried. The griffon head says, guard what is sacred. The human head says, speak what is true. Then the dragon gives the final teaching. Riches come clean when wisdom leads them. And the tombs transform. Old grief becomes memory. Buried gift becomes calling. Family silence becomes truth, spoken with care. Money, shame becomes stewardship. Dreams left for dead becomes seeds returning. The chamber fills with golden breath. The collective stands not richer because coins fell from the ceiling like the universe lost its purse. The collective stands richer because something buried returned with purpose. The voice is clearer. The gift is awake. The old dead things are finally in their proper place. Not ruling, not haunting, not decorating the nervous system like grief got an interior design certificate. Resting, honored, released. And Buné, three-headed dragon of wisdom and wealth, coils around the opened gate. He says, do not chase riches without wisdom. Do not worship struggle as holiness. Do not bury the gift because fools lack the vision to value it. Do not let the dead past spend the living future. Beloved collective, this is the key. Honor what ended. Recover what was buried. Speak your worth clearly. Let wisdom govern wealth. Let legacy become living treasure. Because the true richness of Buné is not just possession. It is restoration. The gift restored. The voice restored. The bloodline restored. The buried dream restored. The living soul restored from old tombs it was never meant to sleep inside. And the scroll closes with this. The dead past may hold memory, but it does not own the future. The buried gift may be covered in dust, but it is not dead. The soul that speaks its worth with wisdom becomes rich before the gold ever arrives. Carry the treasure clean. Guard the gift. Honor the dead. Feed the living. And stop calling survival your inheritance when abundance has been waiting at the gate with receipts. The receipt for Buné says he is the 26th spirit, a strong duke appearing as a three-headed dragon with heads like a dog, griffon, and man. The text says he speaks with a high, comely voice, gives riches, wisdom, eloquence, true answers, and governs 30 legions. Apparently, abundance needed a dragon, a graveyard, and a speaking coach. Very normal. The receipt says Buné appears as a three-headed dragon, one head like a dog, one head like a griffon, one head like a human. And beloved collective, that is not random monster decoration from the ancient imagination's weird little art department. That is a whole teaching. The dog head tracks what was buried. The griffon head guards what is sacred. The human head speaks wisdom clearly. So Buné is not just about riches. Buné is about knowing what kind of wealth you are trying to call in, and whether your spirit is healed enough not to turn the blessing into a new cage with shinier bars. Because riches without wisdom can make a person louder, greedier, colder, and somehow more annoying at brunch. But riches with wisdom? That becomes stewardship. That becomes healing. That becomes legacy. That becomes a table where nobody has to starve to prove they are humble. Buné also speaks with a high and beautiful voice, which matters, because abundance requires language. You cannot keep whispering your worth like you are apologizing to poverty for leaving it. You cannot keep saying, I don't need much, when your calling clearly needs room, resources, rest, and support. That is not humility. Sometimes that is fear wearing church shoes. Buné teaches the collective, speak your worth clearly. Name the gift honestly. Receive without guilt. Build without worshiping the building. The old current around Buné also touches the dead, sepulchres, and gathered spirits. Symbolically, that is ancestral memory, old grief, buried gifts, family silence, dreams left for dead, the things we buried because survival had us too busy trying not to fall apart in public, like polite little disasters. Buné walks into the tomb and says, what is dead needs peace. What is buried needs recovery. What is inherited needs wisdom. That is the esoteric knowledge. Some dead things must stay dead. Old shame, old fear, old money curses, old family rules that said struggle was holy and receiving was suspicious. Those can stay in the tomb. Put flowers on them if you must, but stop letting them drive. But some buried things were never dead. Your art, your voice, your confidence, your ability to receive, your dream, your calling, your joy, your right to have enough. Those were not dead, beloved. They were hidden under disappointment, mockery, exhaustion, and people with the vision range of a foggy spoon. Buné's compassionate wisdom is this: do not shame yourself for what you buried while trying to survive. You were not weak. You were overwhelmed. You were learning. You were protecting what was sacred in a season that had no safe shelf for it. But now the dragon comes to ask, are you ready to stop calling survival your inheritance? Because survival may have brought you this far, but abundance wants to teach you how to live beyond emergency mode. The collective does not need to worship money. The collective needs to stop fearing support. The collective does not need greed. The collective needs stewardship. The collective does not need to hoard. The collective needs to build, feed, heal, create, restore, and pass forward something cleaner than struggle with a family name attached. So here is the witty medicine. If poverty taught you wisdom, thank the lesson. Then stop renewing the lease. If struggle built your strength, honor the training. Then stop making pain your life coach. If the gift was buried, dig it up, dust it off, give it water, give it language, give it a chair at the table. Because Buné teaches, the dead past may hold memory, but it does not own the future. The buried gift may be covered in dirt, but it is not dead. The soul that speaks its worth with wisdom becomes rich before the gold ever arrives. Carry the treasure clean. Guard the gift. Honor what ended. Feed what lives. And stop apologizing for abundance like lack is going to get its feelings hurt. Core lesson. Buné teaches the collective this: abundance is not dirty. Greed is dirty. Shame is dirty. Exhaustion pretending to be humility is definitely dirty. That is the truth. No fog machine. No glittery confusion. No spiritual poverty equals purity nonsense wearing sandals and judging everybody's rent. Buné comes as the three-headed dragon to teach us that wealth must have wisdom, memory, and a voice. The dog head tracks what was buried. The griffon head guards what is sacred. The human head speaks worth clearly. So the lesson is simple. Recover the buried gift. Honor what ended. Stop letting survival pretend it is your inheritance. Some things in your life are dead and need peace. Old shame, old fear, old family rules, old money curses, old dreams that were built from wounds instead of wisdom. Let them rest. But some things were never dead. Your gift, your voice, your creativity, your confidence, your right to receive, your right to be supported, your right to build a life that does not feel like an emergency room with furniture. Buné says, dig up the gift, not the grief. And let's land it plainly. If struggle taught you strength, thank it, then stop dating it. If poverty taught you wisdom, honor the lesson, then stop renewing the lease. If survival kept you alive, bless it, then stop letting it manage your future like it has a business degree. The collective learned that riches are not only coins. Riches are peace, rest, safety, clean support, fair exchange, a healed bloodline, a voice that can say, this is my worth, without whispering like abundance might get offended. Buné teaches, wisdom must govern wealth. Wealth must serve life. The gift must be protected. The dead past does not get to spend the living future. So stop apologizing for receiving. Stop shrinking your calling to make uncomfortable people comfortable. Stop feeding everyone from an empty bowl and calling it love. That is not holiness. That is burnout with incense. The truth is this: you are allowed to have enough. You are allowed to build. You are allowed to be supported. You are allowed to become abundant without becoming greedy, cold, or ridiculous. Buné's key is simple. Honor the dead. Feed the living. Guard the gift. Speak your worth. Let legacy become treasure with wisdom attached. Because the buried gift is not dead. It was waiting for you to stop calling lack your destiny.
To our beautiful collective, from our day ones to every new soul joining this journey, we love and appreciate you deeply. You've turned this space into so much more than a community. You've made it a family. Thank you, truly. Your presence, your energy, and even the smallest acts of kindness have the power to shift the compass for many in ways unseen but deeply felt. Here's to each of you, all new and the many more to come. We're just getting started, and we're so grateful you're here with us. With love and infinite appreciation from the collective of Shaman Ahll.
Beloved collective, let Buné close this scroll with the three-headed dragon resting at the golden gate. The tombs opened, the buried gifts breathing again, and money shame finally escorted out like an unpaid spiritual tenant. Legacy is not only what we leave behind. Legacy is what we stop burying. Some of us inherited silence. Some inherited struggle. Some inherited money fear. Some inherited the belief that being tired meant being faithful, that being unsupported meant being strong, and that wanting enough meant we had somehow betrayed humility. Beloved, no. Humility does not require lack. Wisdom does not require exhaustion. A sacred calling does not become holier because the body is collapsing in the corner while everybody claps for your sacrifice. That is not legacy. That is burnout, wearing a little halo and asking for donations. Buné teaches the collective, do not pass down survival as if it is the whole inheritance. Survival is honorable. Survival is sacred. Survival got many of us through storms that should have swallowed us whole. So bless the survival self. Bless the one who stretched the dollar. Bless the one who hid the dream because the room was too cruel. Bless the one who gave when there was barely anything left. Bless the one who kept going with tired hands, a heavy heart, and a smile so convincing even pain started checking the script. But now, beloved, we must ask the deeper question. Was survival meant to protect the gift or replace it? Because Buné does not come to shame the past. He comes to dig the gift out of it. The dog head tracks what was buried. The griffon head guards what is sacred. The human head speaks worth clearly. Together they teach us that abundance is not just money. Abundance is room to breathe. Abundance is rest without guilt. Abundance is support without shame. Abundance is a healed relationship with receiving. Abundance is a gift, no longer hiding in the basement of the soul, because somebody once called it strange. And let us be honest, collective, Some people called your gift strange because their imagination was built like a folding chair. Functional, perhaps, but not fit to seat a kingdom. Buné reminds us, the buried gift was not dead. It was waiting for safety, language, and courage. So have compassion for the self that buried it. Do not curse that version of you. They were not lazy. They were not weak. They were not behind. They were protecting something holy in a season that did not know how to honor it. But now the tomb is open. The old grief has been named. The dead past has been given its proper place, and the living gift must be fed. That is the legacy. Not hoarding, not greed, not chasing gold until the soul turns cold and starts sounding like a business seminar in a haunted basement. Clean wealth, wise wealth, compassionate wealth, resources that heal, support that steadies, money that serves the mission, not the ego. A table where the gifted do not have to starve to prove they are pure. A future where the children inherit wisdom, not fear dressed up as discipline. Let this be the blessing over the collective. May every buried gift rise with strength. May every old money curse lose its tongue. May every dream left for dead remember its name. May every healer receive support. May every artist be honored. May every teacher be fed. May every worker rest without shame. May every bloodline learn that abundance can be clean. And may the collective never again confuse struggle with holiness. If struggle taught you strength, thank it. If lack taught you wisdom, honor it. If survival carried you, bless it. Then stop letting it hold the crown, because Buné leaves us with this final key. Honor the dead, feed the living, guard the gift, speak your worth, let wisdom govern wealth. You are allowed to have enough. You are allowed to build. You are allowed to receive. You are allowed to become abundant without becoming greedy, cold, or ridiculous with a gold cup and no conscience. The dead past may hold memory, but it does not own the future. The buried gift may have dust on it, but it is not dead. And the soul that finally speaks its worth with wisdom becomes rich before the gold ever arrives. So carry the treasure clean. Let legacy become living treasure. And stop apologizing for abundance, like lack is sitting somewhere with hurt feelings and a clipboard.
Until next time, your Sea Star Curacy, channeled by 3611027, the Beautiful Whisperer. Our Sea Star Devalan CO. Apply the news you can use.